I've been watching the NBA playoffs, and there's a really good marketing lesson that we saw here. So, first of all, I have to admit, and you might know this from watching other videos, I'm a huge Denver Nuggets fan. And if you're not a basketball person, that's cool. This will still all make sense. But what you need to know is last year, the Denver Nuggets won the championship, the NBA championship, for the first time in franchise history. It was a huge deal for me and lots of other people. This year, they were one of the favorites to win again and repeat. They didn't do that. And I think I know why, and this is how that applies probably to your business. So the Nuggets, which are a great offensive team and an improved defensive team, played in a weird way in the playoffs. They just looked off. They looked like they were being defensive. And I don't mean playing good defense. I mean, they looked like they were in a position where they were just trying to protect themselves. They rarely had the energy and the grit that you would expect from someone who's going to go through a really difficult postseason, especially in the Western Conference, and get to and win the finals. First round, they played the Los Angeles Lakers, who didn't give them much of a fight, even though there were some close games, but they're not a great team right now. In the second round, they played this upstart team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've been getting better and better in the past few years, putting the pieces together, and very much like a startup. Lots of young talent, very hungry, a little bit raw, starting to figure out how to all play together. They beat the Denver Nuggets by being aggressive, by playing a really intense physical style, by throwing looks at the Nuggets it didn't expect. But I think more important than all of that is the Nuggets just played with a defensive mindset. No matter how hard they tried to push on offense, how hard they tried to be aggressive, it was like there was something in the back of their mind that kept them defensive. They knew they won the year before. They couldn't shake the feeling of just trying to protect winning again as opposed to pursuing and chasing. Now, what does this mean for businesses? I see very often, and I think in prop tech more than most other spaces, that the leaders in any industry or in any part of any industry play really defensive. They get this huge amount of money or valuation. They're super successful. They're serving a huge market. Let's use Zillow as a great example because they were there early and they just play defensive. They just don't want to lose what they have. They might do defensive business things like buy smaller businesses just to sort of keep them out of the way from growing. But I think they also do really defensive marketing stuff. You don't see a lot of progressive marketing out of Zillow, right? It's mostly pretty table stakes stuff. They've got great brand recognition. Now, here's the problem. Most companies that imagine themselves being the next Zillow or taking a sliver away from Zillow, one of the first things that the marketing team does is they look at what Zillow is doing. They look at their social ads, they look at their TV ads, they look at all their marketing stuff, right? They look at what products they're rolling out as marketing strategies, right? Like first time home buyer guides, that kind of thing. And they just sort of replicate it with maybe their own little twist. But you can't beat a team that is being defensive by also being defensive. In the case of the Lakers playing the Timberwolves, it just would have made terrible basketball. Two sort of defensive mindsets, just sort of trying to be perfect, playing not to lose would have been awful. But that's what we're seeing in the business world and a ton in prop tech. There's some really ambitious companies building great technology, but they're just using the same marketing playbook as the people they want to be like, which kind of makes sense when you don't think about it too hard. But when you really press on it, you can't beat someone by running the same pace as them if they start ahead of you. Right? Let's put it in racing terms. You're running a 5K charity race. Someone starts 2 minutes ahead of you and you run the same pace, they're going to get to the finish line first. They're already ahead. You have to do different things to catch up. So if you're in prop tech or any other industry and you are not the leader in your space, you cannot follow their playbook. You need to zig where they zag. You need to uncover things they're not looking for. You need to be more aggressive. That's what I've learned from watching the NBA playoffs this year.